Hi, it's Andy here at Photech Video, and in today's video we're going to go out in the street and test this $20 all plastic 32mm f10 focus free pancake like lens, which more than a pancake looks incredibly like a famous biscuit. So I came across this lens while I was surfing on Amazon, and I thought to myself, can this really work? Can I really take photos using this? Well, today we're going to find out. I have to be honest with you, the plastic used in the manufacturing of this lens is no better than a cheap lens cap. And the lens itself is incredibly small, as you can see there in the center. Having said that, it is quite an interesting looking lens, and it does make your camera look inobtrusive. Now, I haven't used the lens before making this video, so I really have no idea what the results will be like. As you can see, stamped on the rear of the lens, it says that it's for the E-mount, which is the Sony mount system. It also says that it's focus free, which is another way of saying you can't focus with it. There are no moving parts to this lens. Now, it claims to be a 32mm f10 aperture lens, which I cannot confirm or deny. However, when we go outside and do the tests, we may get a better idea. Now, as this lens has an f10 aperture and is focus free, when we attach it to the front of our camera, we're basically converting our camera into a point and shoot camera, where a good portion of our image should be in focus. So we don't need to worry about focus, and we don't need to worry about setting aperture. However, we do want to get a correct exposure, and to do that we'll apply our knowledge of the exposure triangle. I recently uploaded a video to my channel explaining clearly how the exposure triangle affects your photography and how we can apply it. If you'd like to watch that, you can see it in the link up here. Now, apart from the Sony E-mount, this lens is also available with other camera mount system fittings. Actually, I think that the combination of my Sony a5100 and the center creamy part of the famous biscuit look pretty good. Now, once we get outside to do our tests, I'll confirm the shutter speed which I'm going to be using. But I can tell you that I've set my exposure mode to manual and my focus mode also to manual focus. And I've turned on the focus peaking in camera to be able to see what is and what isn't supposedly in focus using this lens. Now, to be honest, I would love this lens to give good results, as it would be great to use in a number of different scenarios. But being realistic, as this lens is all plastic, focus free, and at a fixed aperture, I'm more inclined to expect bad results, and I don't hold much hope for it. So I'll be including a number of example shots taken on the Sony a5100 using this plastic lens, and they will be 100% straight out of camera, with no light balancing, with no editing, absolutely straight out of camera. And I'm also going to include several short video clips taken outside so that you can see how this lens performs for video. And by the way, I've set my Sony a5100 to the creative style which is called standard. Okay, so let's go outside with my Sony a5100 coupled with this all plastic focus free f10 32mm famous biscuit looking pancake lens, and see what the results are. Okay, so here we are outside armed with the Sony a5100 and this $20 all plastic supposed 32mm f10 aperture focus free lens, which looks surprisingly like the famous biscuit. And you're going to try and take some snaps around this square, around this area, to see whether it actually works or not. Now, I've set my camera to manual exposure mode and also to manual focus mode, and my exposure settings are 1/200th of a second at the supposed f10, which is obviously not changeable in camera, and I've set my ISO to automatic. The reason I've set it to automatic is because here in this bright square, 1/200th of a second at 100 ISO at this f10 is more or less a correct exposure, and if I go into an area which is a little bit darker with a bit more shade, then the automatic ISO will compensate for that difference. So let's give it a try. Let's have a walk around and get some of these snaps with this cheap little fun unobtrusive lens. So there you go, some straight out of camera shots taken using this camera lens combination. Just as a heads up, directly after recording the intro to the examples, it clouded over, as is typical in this area. So I changed my shutter speed from 1/200th of a second to 1/100th of a second and left my ISO on automatic. Well, I must say that these images came out much better than I expected using this novelty plastic lens. As I said before, they are 100% straight out of camera, and they do have a bit of a retro look to them. They're not very sharp, however, they're not completely out of focus either. And I must say that it was great fun just walking around, snapping away at whatever I wanted to without having to worry about focus and without having to worry about other camera settings. Okay, so there you had some clips of video taken, again, using the Sony a5100 paired with this cheap plastic lens. As it was quite bright outside, I couldn't get the 2:1 shutter speed frame rate ratio, so those video clips were 1080p Full HD at 24 frames per second at 1/400th of a second, with the fixed f-stop of f10 and my ISO again on automatic. I think that the video clips may show more of a retro look than the still images themselves. Would I recommend you to run out right now and buy yourself one of these cheap $20 famous biscuit looking like plastic lenses? Absolutely not. However, if you do want to experiment and practice snapping away with your camera without any worries, then why not? It certainly is an inconspicuous lens, and it didn't attract any unnecessary attention from passers-by. All in all, I was pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed the hour that I spent walking around and taking test shots with this lens. So there you've seen straight out of camera still images as well as straight out of camera video clips using this cheap plastic lens. Please let me know in the description section down below your comments, what you thought, whether or not you were surprised by the quality or lack of quality which this plastic lens offers, and any other comments which you may have. I always answer your comments, and interacting with my channel is a great way for me to know the kind of content which you may like me to create in future videos. I hope you found this video useful and interesting. If you did, please click on the like button and share with any friends or family who you think might also find the video interesting. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Subscribing to a YouTube channel is completely free for you, and it helps the channel to grow. And while you're at it, ring on that notification bell to be notified every time a new video drops on my channel. You'll find affiliate links to gear used in the making of this video, as well as to this lens, in the description section down below. If you do decide to purchase something through one of my affiliate links, thank you for supporting the channel. The price to you will be the same, and I will receive a small commission, which will help me to continue creating content for you here on my channel. So until the next time, this is Andy at Photech Video signing off. Take care and be safe.